senior guard number 5, Plymouth, Wyatt. Ladies and gentlemen, your Plymouth Whitemarsh. Colonials are coached by Jim Donofrio, assisted by George Wadley, Mike McClure, Chuck Moore, Andrew Swanson, and Todd Coaches Berger, and A.J. Valeria. Your starters for the evening. Sophomore guard, number 10, Brandon Dixon. Sophomore guard, number 24, Sam Piger. Sophomore forward, number 15, Jalen Bond. Senior forward, number 2, Joe Hughes. And junior center and captain, number 1, C.J. Aiken. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Colonial Zone, Miss Barbara Santoro, as she sings our Star-Spangled Banner. Ladies and gentlemen, stand, remove your hats, and honor America by joining Barbara Santoro.
Stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. For the ramparts we watched were so gallantly
Good evening, everyone, and welcome inside Plymouth Whitemarsh High School, the site of today's game between the Norristown Eagles and the Plymouth Whitemarsh Colonials. I'm Mark Holodinsky, bringing you Norristown basketball on NASD TV, channel 28 and 45, also available online at nasd.k12.pa.us. Well, the starters are announced a moment ago for the Eagles. Gardner, Christmas, Wyatt, Ramsey, and Mayer. And for the home Plymouth Whitemarsh Colonials, C.J. Aiken, the 6'9" junior star guard, Joe Hughes, Brandon Dixon, Jalen Bond, another star of theirs, and Sam Pigot. Well, this game is a huge geographical rivalry, but this year it's more than that, as the teams now belong in the same conference, and the opening tip is controlled by C.J. Aiken. So this is the first of 2 meetings between these 2 teams, and both of them state contenders, just both of them full of talent. C.J. Aiken and Jalen Bond on the Colonial side, both will be playing Division I ball in college. Here's the alley-oop, and Jalen Bond slams down the first basket of the game, and they're going crazy here at Plymouth Whitemarsh High. Ramsey tries to silence them and gets fouled. Wow, so that's a way to open it up with Jalen Bond getting way up there to slam down the alley-oop. And that was not a shooting foul by the Colonials, so an inbound for the Eagles. Wow, that got the crowd fired up. That one's deflected out of bounds by PW, and Norristown will try to inbound once more. Ramsey gets it to Mayer. He'll drive, put up a little floater, doesn't go. Gets his own miss, though, and the Eagles have a fresh possession. Sheldon Mayer, the junior guard, averaging 4 points per game, but now it's in the hands of Jarrell Gardner, who dishes back to the point guard, Sheldon Mayer. We played just 40 seconds here, but the crowd's already going crazy after a high-flying Jalen Bond slam as Wyatt for 3, no good. Khalif Wyatt went off in the Eagles' last game for a season-high 27, including 4 threes and 5 of 5 from the line. Brandon Dixon defers to Sam Pigot. Now here's a 3 up and good from number 2, Joe Hughes. So the early 5-0 lead for PW. The crowd, a capacity crowd, going absolutely nuts. And of course, a number of Norristown fans in attendance, as they always are here at PW. Every year, dozens of fans making the trip whenever this game is indeed held here. And the Eagles take a timeout, and well-taken timeout with the way all the momentum the Plymouth Whitemarsh Colonials have after a huge dunk and a long 3. Once again, it's 5-0 in favor of the Plymouth Whitemarsh Colonials, who come in here with a mark of 8-2 compared to 7-2 for the Norristown Eagles. And again, both of these teams just loaded with talent. Both will contend to go on deep playoff runs. We know what the Eagles did last year, and PW last year, not one of their strongest years in what has been a very storied program, but transfers from LaSalle, C.J. Aiken and Jalen Bond, make this team from good to great. Gardner handling at the top of the key, gets it to Sheldon Mayer and to Lorenzo Crispus, who's been great in the first third of the season for the Eagles. Here's Gardner. Lost his starting role to Chris Davis, but apparently that's no longer the case. And that one was a goaltending call on C.J. Aiken, 6'9", Mr. Aiken is, and sure showed it there, but unfortunately the goaltend. So count the basket for the Eagles. It's 5-2. Boy, the Eagles don't have anybody that comes within 4 inches of C.J. Aiken, so it's going to be a nightmare to contend with him down in the low post, both offensively and defensively. Here's a drive and a pass picked off by James Ramsey. Brandon Dixon on the turnover, but here's Christmas, gets it to Gardner, layup, no good but a foul, and Jarrell Gardner is going to go to the line for 2. Jarrell Gardner averaging 4.2 points per game on the year, coming off of a game in which he scored just 2, but Jarrell Gardner will shoot 2 right here. The foul drawn on C.J. Aiken. It would be nice to get him into some early foul trouble, but that's just his first. But we are early, and Jarrell Gardner hits the first. It's 5-3, and Jarrell Gardner will try to cut the deficit to 1. And he does not get it, so Jarrell Gardner splits a pair of free throws in what's a very hectic environment right now with the capacity crowd and all the enthusiasm that is around this very small gym. Brandon Dixon with the pass. Nobody there but Jarrell Gardner for the Eagles. Has one man to beat. Layup. Good. Jarrell Gardner has 2 more, and he's got 3 of the Eagles' first 5 points. Joe Hughes has 3 as well. Little hop step, puts it up, and he walked. Joe Hughes called for traveling, and the Eagles take over. It's a 5-5 game, and PW calls a timeout. And these coaches aren't taking any chances whenever one team starts to get momentum and gets the crowd into it. I mean, both teams, again, have a tremendous number of fans here. So whenever a team starts to get momentum, we've seen the opposing coach call a timeout. The game opened with a 5-0 run by Plymouth Whitemarsh, but the Eagles have responded with a 5-0 run of their own. I'm Mark Holodinsky. This is NASD TV. And with 5.5 minutes to go in the first quarter, it's a tie game at 5. Head coach Jim D'Onofrio will discuss things with his Plymouth Whitemarsh Colonials as Mike Evans, returning from his leave of absence that ended about a week ago, and the rest of the assistant coaches talk things over with the Eagles, who don't make any changes personnel-wise. Still got their starting 5 in there, as do the PW Colonials. Ramsey emails to Sheldon Mayer, and clock will begin to wind. It's a 5-5 game. The Eagles in their road blue uniforms today, and the pass is picked off by Brandon Dixon. Puts it up, puts it in. Brandon Dixon makes it a 7-5 Plymouth Whitemarsh lead. Here's Wyatt. Khalif Wyatt averaging 17 points per game, but it'll be Ramsey who puts it up and draws the foul. James Ramsey coming off of just a great triangle tournament back at the Norristown area high school against Souderton and Germantown Academy. Norristown won the tournament. Wyatt was the clear-cut MVP, but Ramsey played a heck of a 2 games there, including last game in which he scored 16, including 4 threes. James Ramsey, an excellent free throw shooter as well, hits the first. He's averaging 8.7 points per game on the year. Senior 6'3" forward/guard, and he hits the second. But I'll tell you, this Plymouth Whitemarsh lineup, just extremely young, just 1 senior in their starting 5. And they're going to be a force to be reckoned with not only this year, but next year and perhaps even more. A little layup's no good by Sam Pygott, but he committed an offensive foul.
That was on Sam Pygott, Sam's first team.
That was the first on Sam Pygott of the offensive variety, and the Eagles take over. Sheldon Mayer receiving some instruction from head coach Mike Evans as he brings the ball up, and now here's Wyatt, headed to Temple to play his college ball, and that pass was just thrown away by Lorenzo Christmas. Just a sloppy error, and the two get together to talk about it a little bit. Got to forget about that one. Big man C.J. Aiken will inbound it. And point guard Brandon Dixon brings it up, gets it to Aiken. He's got Gardner guarding him. Goes to Bond. And he dishes to Joe Hughes, the 3-point specialist. Wyatt on him. Looking for somewhere to go and finds Dixon. He's double teamed. And that one was tipped by Mayer. And the Plymouth Whitemarsh Colonials will keep it. The Colonials inbound into the backcourt to Brandon Dixon. And now Joe Hughes controlling, gets it to C.J. Aiken. He'll shoot a 3. It's no good. But an offensive rebound, another miss, and that ball is out of bounds off of the Eagles, so yet another opportunity for the Plymouth Whitemarsh Colonials. How about C.J. Aiken? We know what he can do down low with that 6'9" frame of his, but there he is trying to shoot a 3. Now they inbound to him. Air balls the short jumper, but it's put back by Jalen Bond. 3:57 to go in the first quarter. It's a 9-7 game in favor of the home Plymouth Whitemarsh Colonials. Here's Lorenzo Christmas, gets it back to Sheldon Mayer, now to Wyatt. Wyatt puts up a 3. It's good. Khalif Wyatt gives the Eagles the lead. That's what he does best. When he gets in the zone, it's pretty tough to slow him down. When he's hitting 3s like that, watch out. Here is Brandon Dixon trying to get by Mayer. Falls down, and that pass did not touch anyone in a blue jersey. So the Eagles will take over, and they make their first substitution of the game, bringing Tom Smith in to replace Lorenzo Christmas. Tom Smith's been playing really well of late, averaging 6.2 points per game on the year. That's good for 4th on the team off the bench. Brings tons of energy and heart as well. So many intangibles to go along with the scoring and the rebounding and everything that goes with it. Here's Gardner in the corner for 3. No good. And it's rebounded by Joe Hughes. He saves it, but to Tom Smith. You never save the ball in your own backcourt. But the Colonials fortunately able to get a steal after Joe Hughes inbound or saved it to the Eagles. Here's Hughes wide open in the corner. No good. Rebounded by Jarrell Gardner. Well, the Eagles with 9 threes in their most recent game. That's a nice number for them. 8 of them were between Ramsey and Wyatt. But if this team could get their perimeter game going, it opens up so many more things for them. Let's see if they can do it this game as Gardner. He'll just drive it, but it's no good. C.J. Aiken gets the boards. And it's brought up by Dixon. Tried to get it to Hughes, but not a good pass. And another sloppy turnover. We've seen several by both teams in this game.
Marcus Badger in the game for the Colonials.
The Colonials now make their first substitution in the game. 5'11" sophomore guard Marcus Badger. More youth for the Colonials. Another sophomore coming in the game. Wyatt gets by Hughes, puts it up, puts it in. Khalif Wyatt, that's too easy for him. Once he got by Hughes, there was no one going to stop him. Here's Sam Pygott, and he gets it to Marcus Badger. He's now running the point with Dixon out of the game. C.J. Aiken will try to drive past Gardner, now pulls up, and that one wasn't even close. That's the second time we've seen him miss badly from inside the arc. And now here's Wyatt with Hughes on him. Tries to cross him up, uses the spin move, and he travels. Khalif Wyatt getting a little bit too fancy, and he's semi-prone to traveling violations. And with all the scoring and everything he does, it's just a small problem. But if there's one thing you'd like to see him improve on, and we've mentioned it before in other broadcasts, Khalif Wyatt needs to protect that ball and not travel. Weiss Grant in the game, and he hands it off to Will Massio. Will Massio gets it back out. This is Jalen Bond out, gets it to Weiss Grant for three, and it's good. That ties the game at a dozen apiece. And we got 1 minute and 20 seconds to go in the first quarter. It's been back and forth all game. The largest lead has been 5 by the Colonials when they led 5-0. James Ramsey directing traffic, and he gets it to Wyatt. And now to Mayer. Sheldon Mayer with Marcus Badger on him. The Eagles passing it around the perimeter, looking for some kind of offense to get started. Here's Wyatt. Fakes out his defender and splashes a jumper. Khalif Wyatt. Marcus Badger will bring it up and try to answer what Wyatt just did. Gets it to Will Massio. And now back up top to Marcus Badger, and he signals to his offense. He's got 34 seconds left on the clock, so perhaps the Colonials might be able to take the last shot, but they may not. Here is a three by Weiss Grant, and it's no good. Rebound on the floor, and it's slammed down by C.J. Aiken. Picks up the loose change and dunks it. Wyatt will try to settle things down. It's 14-14, 8 seconds to go. The Eagles trying to get off a quality shot. Wyatt puts it up, doesn't get it. The rebound tipped, Wyatt got it. Puts it up, no. And the rebound goes to PW, but no chance to get a shot off, and we're through one here at Plymouth Whitemarsh High School, where the visiting Eagles 14 and the Plymouth Whitemarsh Colonials 14. Well, we expected a heck of a game. There's no doubt about that. And we've certainly gotten it. Both teams shown a little bit of jitters in this big pressure situation, committing a couple sloppy turnovers, but boy, C.J. Aiken and Jalen Bond both threw down vicious dunks. Khalif Wyatt hit a couple of big jumpers. And I mean, all that is big players making big plays in a big game. Well, thanks for joining us tonight here on NASD TV. Once again, I'm Mark Holodinsky, and we have a tie ball game. Alan Yates is going to check into the game for the Eagles for the first time, as will Chris Davis, a pair of juniors, with some big minutes here for the Norristown. And of course, as we mentioned at the top, Chris Davis started a couple of games for this team, and averaging 1.6 per game. Brings a lot of defense and hustle to the floor as well. Chris Davis, heck of a player to be bringing off the bench as a junior. Now playing some point guard and receiving some instruction from Mike Evans. And now Tom Smith has it at the top of the key. Gets it to Davis. And now to Yates. Now they'll try to get it inside to Jarrell Gardner. Nothing there for the Eagles thus far on this possession. Let's see what they can get out of it. Here's Davis. Gets it to Smith. And now back to Davis. They'll try to reset. 14-14 still. 7.5 minutes to go in the half. And James Ramsey did not look the ball in. May have not been the best pass by Davis, but whoever you want to blame, that's a turnover. Chris Davis goes down, nothing called. Massio, the reverse, and it's good off the glass. Will Massio on the reverse, giving his Plymouth Whitemarsh Colonials the lead. It's 16-14. Chris Davis gets it to Ramsey. Had an open look, gets it back to Tom Smith, and now rolls it to Yates. And it's back to Davis at the top of the key. And now all the way back near the half-court line. Here is Gardner, being double-teamed by Bond and Badger. And they'll go back to Davis. Here's Ramsey. He'll take a couple of dribbles in, put it up off the glass, and he got it to go. James Ramsey, heck of a defensive player, as we mentioned time and time again, and his offense really coming on strong. So James Ramsey, the senior, also plays some quarterback, so we know what kind of leadership he has, as he showed it on the gridiron, as well as Aiken missed the three. And there's a foul on the floor. Khalif Wyatt is ready to check back into the game after a short stint on the bench. We got 6:18 to go, and it's a 16-15 game in favor of PW. Tom Smith was guilty of the foul on that last play, and PW will inbound. C.J. Aiken in the corner. Yates, Norristown's tallest player, is strapped to him. Yates standing at 6'5", but C.J. Aiken listed at 6'9". So you put your tallest player on him, it's still a big height difference. Here's Mascio trying to get around Wyatt, gets into the paint, loses it. It's picked up by Yates, who dishes to Davis, back to Yates. Gets it to Wyatt. That's not going to count, as they call an offensive foul on Norristown.
Foul is on number 33. That's Yates' first, team second.
So more turnovers in this game. We've seen a number so far, and PW has a chance to build on what's a very slim 1-point lead. Here's Mascio. Thought about a three, now takes a step in, drew the foul. Good looking pump fake to get Tom Smith into the air, and once you do that, drawing the foul is relatively easy, and Mascio gets to the line. Gerald Gardner into the game. He's out there to get Tom Smith. And Lorenzo Christmas is also back. Well, C.J. Aiken hasn't made a lot of noise. I mean, he had that huge dunk that got the crowd off their feet, but he's looked bad on a couple of jumpers and hasn't been a huge game changer thus far. Here he is, getting the ball to number 23, Damian Williams, and he traveled. Another turnover, this time by PW, and Norristown inbounds. 16-15, the Eagles trail with 5 minutes and change left to go before halftime. Wyatt and Davis play a little bit of catch. Wyatt gets it back out to Davis. Fake the three. Gets it to Christmas in the corner, nearly lost it, got it back. Here's Davis. Wyatt wants the ball along that wing. Now gets it, but all the way back out near half court. This possession already about a half a minute old, and here's Wyatt at the top of the key. Gets it to Davis. And Christmas in the corner for three. Couldn't get it. Had the 6'9" Aiken contesting the shot. Now gets it back out to Davis, who could not get the jumper, and it's rebounded by Jalen Bond. He's got great size himself at 6'6", even though he's listed as a small forward. Another traveling violation on PW, and we've been at 16-15 for a while as the teams continue to trade bad possession for bad possession. 4.5 minutes to go in the second quarter. Christmas gets it back up to Davis. Fakes the pass, drives, now gets it to Wyatt. Took a little pump fake out of three, now has it poked away by Aiken, and the PW Colonials will try to make something happen in the open court. That pass with C.J. Aiken ends up rolling along the baseline and out of bounds. So for the third straight possession, Plymouth Whitemarsh turns the basketball over. And boy, credit the Norristown defense for creating these turnovers. And I mean, a little bit of sloppy play, as that's another one by Norristown. It's a combination right now of sloppy play and good defense that's creating all these turnovers that we've seen so far. hopefully Sheldon Mayer will be able to put an end to that, at least for the Norristown side. One thing Sheldon does above all is protects the ball and doesn't take any bad shots. So hopefully he can bring some order to what's been just a bunch of turnovers. On the defensive side, he likes to create them too, as he's one of the best at causing steals. Here's Will Mascio. Bounces it to Jalen Bond. Bond with Ramsey on him. That's a great matchup, as Ramsey, one of the best defenders, and Jalen Bond, one of the best offensive players in the area. Number 10, Brandon Dixon was stripped en route to the hoop, but he was fouled.
That foul is on Sheldon Mayer. Sheldon's first, team fourth.
There was Sheldon Mayer trying to create a steal, but ends up with nothing to show for it besides a foul. They end on it to Bond. Ball goes flying out of bounds, and last touched by the Eagles. A good play right there to deflect it out of bounds and not allow the shot in the paint. Dixon with the inbound gets it to Mascio, who faked the three. Now gets inside, blocked by Gardner. Now the Eagles have numbers the other way. Gardner has Mayer with him, loses it, and Ramsey, fortunate to get back on top of it, as he out-hustled Mascio, who now wants a traveling violation. He's not going to get it. And here's Wyatt. Lost the ball, got it to Christmas, though. And now Mayer has it. Back to Ramsey. Take a couple dribbles in, a little hop step, puts it up, and he got it. Nifty footwork by James Ramsey, who made the most of his 2 steps and deposits 2. Well, it's now 18-16, the Eagles with the small lead and a foul here on Christmas.
Foul is on number 15. That's Christmas's first, team
And with 2:36 to go in the first half, the Eagles now lead by 2, and what a great game we've had as both of these teams have gone back and forth. And this, for the Eagles, is just another tough game on what's been a very tough stretch. They've had to play Germantown Academy and Souderton in the Triangle Tournament. They've had to play Chester and Imhotep Charter, 2 teams they've lost to. And schedule looks to be getting a little bit easier once the Eagles finish up this game, but first they have to do just that and try to get a W here in a hostile environment against a very good team, as Dixon misses it but gets fouled.
Sheldon Mayer's second foul, team 6.
So Sheldon Mayer with 2 quick fouls since he's come back into the game here in the second quarter. Has just 2, though. And we got a timeout taken by Jim D'Onofrio and the Plymouth Whitemarsh Colonials, who have a deficit of 2 points. It's 18-16. Boy, we're just about through a half of basketball here, and C.J. Aiken, he hasn't looked spectacular. Yes, he's made some plays for PW. He's gathered in some boards, had that dunk in the first quarter. But you expect a lot more out of your 6'9" captain, and he's really just the clear star of this team, along with Jalen Bond. But the Eagles really able to keep him in check more or less so far this game. And if they want to win, they're going to have to continue to do that, because if Plymouth Whitemarsh can keep up with you without C.J. Aiken dominating, imagine what they could do to you with him dominating. So we're ready to restart the action here with 2:48 to go in the half. And Bond inbounds to Dixon. James Ramsey comes out on him as the Eagles are playing some zone defense. Dixon taking his time, looking for a place to go with the basketball. Gets it to Aiken. Back to Dixon. Now they find an open man. That's Stephon Baker, who doesn't get it. But Aiken cleaned up his own miss of a putback. Got the offensive rebound, missed a point-blank range shot, but then slammed back his own miss, and that's his second dunk of the game. Wyatt with the floater. Doesn't go, but it's tipped back by Lorenzo Christmas. And with that, it's 20-18. The Eagles lead, and I'll tell you, both of these teams have stopped making sloppy turnovers, and both of their offenses are starting to look very good. two back-to-back possessions, resulting in as Aiken gets another dunk. And now C.J. Aiken's starting to get his game going, and that shot's not going to count. Don't count the two by Wyatt, who is frustrated. He was fouled before he took the shot. Well, both of these teams doing a good job rebounding offensively, as prior to that Aiken dunk, we had back-to-back possessions with points off of a putback. And now the Wyatt for three, and he missed it. Rebounded by Ramsey, and both of these teams are really starting to get shots off from inside the paint. They're getting good looks inside rather than settling for outside jumpers, and that's what both of these teams. That's when they're at their best. Wyatt nodding for Ramsey to cut. Thought about a long three, instead gets it to Ramsey. Now Wyatt's going to take that long three, and it was in and out, and Aiken gathers in his miss. Dixon brings up the ball for PW, guarded by Shelwood Mayer, pesky defender. Little floater from the wing, it's no good. Gathered in by Bond, he missed it. And that one was off of number 10, Brandon Dixon, as Sam Pygott comes into the game to come get Damian Williams. I'll tell you, I think if Brandon Dixon did not attempt to save that ball, I think it would have been PW ball, because it probably would have been off Wyatt, but Dixon foolishly attempting to save it. And now we got 45 seconds to go, and the Eagles will play a little catch, perhaps trying to use some clock so they could perhaps think about taking the last shot of the half in what is currently a tie game. Wyatt tried to get it to Christmas, could not. He's on the floor with it now and takes a timeout. Well, Wyatt had absolutely nowhere to go, so he took a timeout. We got a tie ball game at 20, and boy, again, it's been back and forth all game. No team really able to be in control at any point for more than a short period of time. C.J. Aiken's starting to get his shots from inside the paint, and ever since that timeout in which I said he didn't really have it going yet, ever since then, it looks like I jinxed the Eagles defense, because now, since then, Aiken's got a couple of dunks, a couple of boards, and the PW's really starting to utilize what he brings to the table in terms of a down-low presence. And earlier in the game, we saw him taking a couple of jumpers from relatively long distance, and boy, that's not his game. You got to get that 6'9" guy down in the paint, dunking on people, and that's what PW is now doing. Here's a Wyatt. Double teamed. Nearly gave it up, got it back, puts it up, draws the foul. Well, boy, he had Sam Pygott and Brandon Dixon both all over him. And an astute play to draw the foul, if for nothing else, to get out of that situation, to avoid a turnover, and now he's at the line. Khalif Wyatt, the 6'4" senior forward, who again will go to Temple next year to play his college ball. Misses the first. He was 5 of 5 last game, but can't get this one to go to break the tie. 24 seconds to go in the first half. It's 20 all as Jaquil Hargrove comes into the game for the Eagles. Wyatt with one more. And it's good. Khalif Wyatt with 48 points between the two Triangle Tournament games over the holiday break. As the Colonials throw it away, here's Wyatt out ahead of everybody, lays it up for the easy two, and it's now a 3-point lead for the Eagles with 8 seconds to go in the half. Bond all the way to the rack and dunks it home, coast to coast for Jalen Bond. Oh, I gotta tell you, this Plymouth Whitemarsh team, unbelievably athletic. The things they could do in the open court are just scary, and that dunk was put home just before halftime. So we got a 23-22 ball game at the half, and the Plymouth Whitemarsh crowd still buzzing from what was, it would be an understatement to call that an impressive play by Jalen Bond. I'm Mark Kolodinski, you're watching NASD TV. Don't go anywhere, we'll be back after a short halftime break. It's 23-22 Eagles.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have two program numbers. If you are one of these numbers, you are a winner. You can come and collect your prize. All we got to do is find them. Number 30, number 12, number 15, number 43, number 1, number 26. If you own any one of these programs, 30, 12, 15, 43, 1, 26, come on over.
We on? Welcome back, everybody, to Plymouth Whitemarsh High School, where halftime has just concluded. We got a capacity crowd, as we always do, when Norristown plays Plymouth Whitemarsh. Of course, this year, with Suburban 1 League being realigned, Plymouth Whitemarsh will take a trip to Norristown for the regular season finale for both teams in February. But for now, the Eagles want to take care of business on the road in what is a very hostile environment. Both of these teams come in with 2 losses, 7 wins for Norristown, 8 for PW. And in the first half, it was the teams exchanged 5-0 runs at the very beginning of the game. And since then, it's been back and forth and back and forth. C.J. Aiken really got it going as Sheldon Mayer tries for a quick steal early in the half. Now has to race to get back on D. There's Hughes, unable to save it. That ball was loose for a while, and he could never really gain it. Here's Wyatt getting inside, puts it up with one hand, doesn't get it. And Jalen Bond gets the rebound. He was big in the first half for the Colonials, as he is night in and night out. Between him and C.J. Aiken, you always have somebody having a huge game. And for Aiken, a huge second quarter today, not such a huge first quarter. And Sam Pygott puts down 2 for the Colonials, and just like that, PW has the lead. Here's Ramsey with a now cross-court pass to Wyatt, now in the corner for Christmas, fakes a 3, and takes a shorter 2, missed it, rebounded by Gardner, who gets it back out to Wyatt. We've played just under a minute in the third quarter. It's 24-23 Plymouth Whitemarsh as we continue to ride the seesaw here as the teams go back and forth. Here's in the corner for Jarrell Gardner. Now back to Wyatt. Faked a 3. That shot's not going to count. There was a foul on the floor. It's the first foul of the half for Plymouth Whitemarsh, so an inbound for the Eagles of Norristown. The foul on Badger. And James Ramsey will inbound. And Wyatt really had a pretty strong first half. Really got it going in the second quarter with some long jumpers. And if the Eagles want to contend with Bond and Aiken and keep up with their high-scoring ways, as Mayer got in but missed the layup, if they want to keep up with the scoring prowess of these guys, Khalif Wyatt's going to have to do his thing. Again, averaging over 17 points per game, well up from where he was last year. And that's no surprise. And he's really been playing. His best 2 games, scoring-wise, have been his last 2. There's a long pass for Hughes. Was momentarily open for 3, but a nice job by Gardner to close, and now another 3-point attempt is made by Pygott, but he missed the shot. And the ball goes out of bounds, and the Eagles claim possession. 6:18 to go in the third quarter. It's still a 24-23 ball game in favor of the home Colonials. Mayer bringing it up, gets it to Lorenzo Christmas. Second on the team in scoring, averaging over 10 points a game at 10.1. Christmas puts it up, off the glass and in. The announcers say Christmas, but it was indeed Wyatt using the glass inside. Now here's Aiken. Pulls up, and he airballed it. C.J. Aiken's going to hear it from the Norristown faithful that have made the short trip up Germantown Pike to this game. There's a block by C.J. Aiken, who says, "Take that, Norristown fans." And like that, just like that, the chance of airball have died. Here's Jalen Bond putting up a little turnaround jumper. That's not even close. But you know what? C.J. Aiken needs to stop taking those jumpers from right about 15 feet. He's got to get into the paint and establish himself as a dominant presence, as he did late in that second quarter. And now he's gone away from it once again, and just like what he was doing in the first quarter, and it's led to his struggles. And there's a foul called here on PW, so the Eagles will inbound, and they have the lead 25-24 after that Khalif Wyatt bank shot moments ago. So James Ramsey will inbound from his own baseline, and he throws it away. Just like that, Plymouth Whitemarsh takes it right back with a chance to take the lead on this possession. Marcus Badger brings it up for the Colonials. He's played a lot of point guard for them this game, along with Dixon. But when Dixon's out of the game as he is now, it's all Badger. An alley-oop attempt for C.J. Aiken. At first it looked like a shot, but indeed C.J. Aiken was right there for the dunk attempt. But I guess he didn't handle it cleanly enough to get the finish. But that's the type of things that they need to do with him. That one's up and no good from Christmas. C.J. Aiken did not get the block, but he changed that shot as Christmas had to adjust in the air, and that made it too difficult for him to drain that shot. Here they go inside to Bond. Great defensive play by Wyatt to strip it away, but unfortunately Aiken gets it right back, gets it back again, and puts it in. So the good defensive play by Khalif Wyatt, nothing comes of it, as the Colonials are still able to score on the possession. Here's James Ramsey. Gets it to Gerald Gardner. And now along the wing for Sheldon Mayer. Finds Wyatt along the arc with a little spin move. Wants a foul, doesn't get it. And they were nearly able to get it to Marcus Badger, but a great job by Gerald Gardner to get into the passing lane and prevent what would have been a very easy attempt. They'll call it timeout. The Colonials calling a full timeout. You know, a lot has been made of a lot of local newspapers or websites ranking the Plymouth Whitemarsh Colonials above the Eagles. But you know what? None of that really matters. These are two very talented teams. They're very close in terms of how good they are. And it's on display right now as teams continue to trade baskets really here. And it's now 26-25 in favor of the Colonials. And I'll tell you what, both of these teams are more than capable of taking the state 4A PIAA championship. They're both that loaded with talent. We saw the Eagles make it all the way to that game and lose last year. And of course they'll miss Russell Graham and Quentin Watson, Maurice Briggs, some of those seniors that have since left. But this Eagles team is still very capable of doing some serious damage. In Plymouth Whitemarsh, we mentioned how they got the two transfers from LaSalle, Jalen Bond and C.J. Aiken, and that they're instantly their two best players. And they've shown it so far this game, both of them with multiple high-flying dunks and doing the little things as well that sometimes go unnoticed, whether it just be deflecting a pass away or making the right pass on offense. Sheldon Mayer guards Marcus Badger. Jaquil Hargrove's into the game for Norristown. Jalen Bond inside, blocked by Gardner, but a foul. Gerald Gardner got way up to block that, but apparently he got too much of Jalen Bond. But not a bad foul. There was no way Bond was going to make that shot. Make him earn it from the line. We see what he could do when he's got a chance close to the basket, so might as well make him go to the line. His first of two is no good. Jalen Bond, the 6'6" sophomore small forward. Boy, 6'6" for a small forward in high school. That's just that's incredible. That's great size for his position. He could play playing center, but of course his type of game is more suited to the small forward position. But either way, just outstanding size, and then the athleticism he combines with it, and he's only a sophomore, so it's just scary what this kid can do. Here's Gardner. Loses it, got it back. Now gets it to Mayer. Kicks it out. And now goes to Ramsey, and Joe Hughes was trying to look for a breakaway layup. A good play by Ramsey to wrap him up before he was able to get out into the open floor. But unfortunate for the Eagles that they ever turned it over in the first place. At one point in the second quarter, it was just turnover after turnover after turnover for both teams. Then they started to get things going a little bit more. And boy, you don't want to get back into that turnover mode. Here is Marcus Badger, gets it inside. Actually, he does not, because the Eagles locked it up perfectly and get a steal. Ramsey puts it up, couldn't get it, and it's rebounded by Norristown. James Ramsey had his shot swatted away, but he's going to go to the line. James Ramsey, one of the better free throw shooters, if not the best, on this Norristown team. And with 2 minutes and 49 seconds to go in this third quarter, the Eagles trail 27-25, but James Ramsey's at the line looking to tie things up. James Ramsey's first of two is no good. This environment, though, is very different from what the Eagles have been used to. And they've played in some very big games with some very big crowds. But, I mean, you just got fans packed along the baseline making noise, distracting Ramsey. You can see it right there. But Ramsey just needs to concentrate and hit his free throws. And he does hit the second one. So good job by Ramsey to get to the line, and he makes it a one-point game. Weiss Grant nearly threw it away, and now Brandon Dixon does throw it away. Along the sideline goes James Ramsey. Inside to Christmas, couldn't handle it. Now gets it back, and he stepped on the baseline before he attempted that cross-court pass. More sloppy play. I mean, Christmas should have reeled in the ball cleanly the first time. And then once he did reel it in, stepping on the sideline, and ultimately a turnover. And again, just more sloppy play. The Eagles, I know it's tough to play here and all, but they need to concentrate and avoid mistakes like that. Jalen Bond could not get it to go. Might have been trying to bank it in, but it's no good. And if you can hold Jalen Bond and C.J. Aiken to jumpers from 15 feet, you're making your chances relatively good for yourself. And the Eagles call timeout. Boy, fans all along the boundaries of the court. Not even enough seats to house all of the fans, whether they be for PW or Norristown. And people standing, people lined up all the way out the door, and the seats just absolutely full. Again, it's to be expected at a Norristown PW game. Geographical rivals, now they're conference rivals as well, which is for the first time in a long time. And then, of course, not to mention that they're two powerhouses in 4A, PIAA high school basketball. Well, the Eagles will break Mike Evans' huddle with Sheldon Mayer, Tom Smith, James Ramsey, Lorenzo Christmas, and Khalif Wyatt. You got great size up there with that lineup. About as good as you're going to get with Norristown anyway, while Alan Yates is not in the game. They're pretty small in terms of their big men. But at the guard and small forward positions, with Ramsey and Wyatt, they got decent size for guards. Ramsey and Mayer play a little catch, and Mayer could not hit the jumper. It was saved by Smith, but Dixon, somehow avoiding the baseline, was able to catch the save attempt. Badgers being guarded by Christmas. Now C.J. Aiken has it. got by Tom Smith, but then had to give it up as he had nowhere to go. Here's inside, puts up a little floater. It's pretty well short. C.J. Aiken gets it back and gets the reverse to fall, and it's now 29-25. The Eagles defensively haven't really used a lot of backcourt pressure, as they often do. But in this game, PW is too talented. They have too much athleticism. If you try to do it, they'll just burn you with long passes and dunks. And Wyatt gives it up. Dixon nearly had it swatted by Tom Smith, but just got it off in time. And now the PW fans are full of energy as their Colonials are on a 7-0 run and have a 31-25 lead. The Eagles need to really slow down this run here, because if this PW team gets some momentum, it could be scary. And all it takes is one or two, really one run of 7-0 or 8-0, and bang, that's your ball game right there. As you look at the final score a couple minutes later, and you lose by 5. But the Eagles will try to take the last shot of the quarter. They got 13 seconds to try to find something. Now under 10 seconds. Here's Ramsey. The fans trying to confuse the Eagles with a little false countdown. Also chanting defense for their Colonials a moment ago. So got some great fans here at PW. Of course, Norristown has come out to support the blue shirts as well. 5 seconds for Wyatt, and he could not make the pass to Ramsey. But that's because of a foul. Royce Grant committed the foul. It's just his first. It's the 4th on the team. But more importantly, the Eagles get the ball back to get some kind of a last shot of the quarter off. Wyatt with 3 seconds has to just chuck it up in traffic, and it doesn't go. Don't count the follow by Christmas. It's no good anyway. And we're through 3 here. Well, after a quiet first quarter by C.J. Aiken, and then he picked it up in the second quarter, it's been a pretty quiet third quarter for the 6'9" junior center. And we keep talking about this because he's so valuable to their success. Him and Jalen Bond really, and Jalen Bond's played a really good game here so far. Because if these guys are on track, PW's near unstoppable. If you could get these two guys off their game a little bit, that's when they become beatable. But C.J. Aiken hasn't been bad. He certainly hasn't. But he hasn't dominated. And last time I said that, he's really started to get in a groove. But Jalen Bond's really been picking up the slack, and so have the rest of his Colonial teammates. And it's a 31-25 lead for PW. Mayer gets it to Ramsey. Back to Ramsey. Back to Mayer. He'll chuck up a 3, and it's good. Sheldon Mayer does not take a lot of threes. When he does, they're usually wide open, but that one's slightly contested, and he still got it to go, and Christmas gets a steal. Sheldon Mayer bringing it up. Rolls it over to Ramsey, who was doubled, so he got it back to Mayer. Mayer chased all the way back to the half-court line. Staring down his defender, Royce Grant, now getting it to Christmas. Back to Mayer, not a good pass. Mayer able to keep possession for the Eagles, though. And Wyatt gets it back to Sheldon Mayer. He'll kick it back out to Wyatt. Here's Khalif Wyatt, thought about a 3, now drives, puts it up, and he got it to go. And Khalif Wyatt, at his layup, have us tied at 31. So the Eagles answer with a run of their own. And now Tom Smith nearly gets a steal, dives, calls timeout with possession. Eagles ball. Tom Smith always bringing energy and hustle to the floor. And now it's the Eagles fans that are on their feet, cheering for their hardwood heroes. As Tom Smith just made a huge hustle play to get them the ball, and they really have all kinds of momentum right now. They're on a 5-0 run, and right now they're just getting it done defensively and offensively. They've gotten a bunch of steals in the last just a few minutes, and the key is that they're turning it into points. Earlier in the game, we saw PW would turn the ball over, and then Norristown would turn the ball right back over. Now, Norristown's getting steals and turning it into points. Turnovers don't mean anything if you can't convert them into points. Well, the Eagles, with Ramsey, Christmas, Mayer, Wyatt, and Smith in the game. And we got 6:33 to go in the game. Mayer all the way to the hole, blocked by Aiken, a huge block by C.J. Aiken. Here's Bond, blocked by Christmas, and it's put up by Joe Hughes and no good, but boy, a pair of stellar blocks, one by PW's C.J. Aiken, the other by Norristown's Lorenzo Christmas, so the teams trade highlight plays. And it was not Hughes, it was actually Will Masio who drew that foul just a moment ago, and he will take the pair of free throws. Will Masio cannot hit the first, with the Norristown fans attempting and successfully attempting to distract him. Will Masio, the 6'1" senior guard, stands at the line ready to take his second. And he split a pair, got one. And now Joe Hughes comes into the game to replace Will Masio. 32-31 is your score, with the Plymouth Whitemarsh Colonials nursing their small advantage. 6:11 to go in the game. Should be a tremendous finish with the crowd chanting defense right now, as Mayer tries to silence them, cannot, but Christmas gets an offensive board. Here's Mayer, cross to Ramsey. James Ramsey directing traffic. Clock ticking at 5:46. James Ramsey will take his time. Wyatt urging him on. Now he dishes it to Mayer. Mayer tries to drive, lost it momentarily. Got it back without trouble though. Here's Wyatt, behind the back. Puts up the mid-range jump shot, tried to use the glass, could not get it to go. And here's Marcus Badger getting it to Joe Hughes. Pulls up for three, it's no good. Rebounded by Aiken, who put it up and got fouled. Better to give up a foul than a dunk though, and C.J. Aiken has to earn his points from the line rather than get an easy two. Of course, if Norristown could secure a rebound, they wouldn't have to make that decision. But when you have to contend with a guy who's nearly 7 feet tall at just 17 years old, it's easier said than done. That was not a shooting foul though. As they say, Aiken was not in the act of shooting, and PW will just take an inbound. Tried to get it to Bond, but a good job by Christmas to deny the pass. Joe Hughes gets it to Weiss Grant, who missed it. Sheldon Mayer, 5'8" guard, pulls down the defensive rebound. Ramsey tried to get a little too fancy and ended up losing it. Badger had it deflected away, but Jalen Bond right there to pick up the garbage and turn it into gold, as the dunk gives the Plymouth Whitemarsh Colonials 2 more and a 3-point lead. Here's Wyatt, puts up a three. It's good. Khalif Wyatt silences the PW crowd and brings the guys in blue to their feet. That pass, a dangerous one for Marcus Badger. And now the Norristown fans really getting into it as they have tied this game at 34 with a Wyatt 3 and now have made a play on defense to get the ball right back. What a game we've seen, and we got 4.5 minutes to go in it, and we're tied. The defenses have been excellent, mainly enforcing turnovers. That's why we've only seen 34 points scored by each team. It's a pretty low number for both of these high-powered offenses. So 4 minutes and change to go. Strap yourself in for what's going to be a great finish. Ramsey nearly lost it. Christmas open. Wyatt gets it to him. Faked a long 3. Now dribbles it back out. And Wyatt has it. Khalif Wyatt with the big shot moments ago. Here he is driving. Puts it up off the glass. No good. Rebound Aiken. His pass was deflected though. And Ramsey gets it to Wyatt, who didn't have it right away. Takes the 3 in the corner. And he missed it. Ramsey had it knocked away, but Christmas is right there. And he stepped on the baseline, out of bounds. Plymouth Whitemarsh ball. Well, no matter who you're rooting for right now, this place is just filled with energy. And they call a timeout to wipe up the floor a little bit. So they do a little bit of groundskeeping here at Plymouth Whitemarsh High School. Actually, technically, the elementary school is PW. About 30 seconds down the road, the actual high school, that is. But nevertheless, here we are. Sheldon Mayer just committed his 3rd foul. But with only 3.5 minutes to go, that's not really going to be a factor. And we got a tie game at 34. And it's time for these guys to start making plays. The C.J. Aikens, the Khalif Wyatts, and Jalen Bonds of the world. There's a block by Wyatt right on cue. Here's Joe Hughes. Gets it to Weiss Grant. Now inside for Aiken. Or will an unlikely hero step up? Who knows what can happen in this kind of a game. And Tom Smith just committed a foul. 4 on him. So if he gets one more, he'll be disqualified. And Joe Hughes inbounding. And he finds Weiss Grant, who can shoot the 3, but he'll go inside to Bond. Blocked by Tom Smith. Jalen Bond has about 4 inches on him, but you wouldn't know it by the way Tom Smith just blocked that shot. Here's Marcus Badger. Finds Jalen Bond. That was off of Aiken, and the Eagles get it. The pass ahead for Ramsey. He's got to slow it down. And now here's Christmas. Takes the open 3. Yes! And Lorenzo Christmas gives the Eagles a huge 3-point lead. What a big shot by Lorenzo Christmas. We know he can hit that shot, but boy, everything on the line right now. That's a foul, but the shot does not go. So number 3, Marcus Badger, is going to have to settle for free throws. Well, we're going back and forth, and boy, if it's not the Norristown fans screaming for a great Eagles play, it's the PW fans screaming for a great Colonials play. And Badger preparing for 2 huge free throws. He can make it a 1-point game if he hits both. 2:33 to go. 37-34 Eagles. You're watching NASD TV. Marcus Badger was too strong with it, and he misses. Sam Pygott, who started this game and this half, returns to the game. Sam Pygott, just a sophomore. We mentioned how young this PW team is, but now they got to play like veterans in this very pressure-packed situation. And the second free throw was good by Badger, and it's 37-35 Eagles. 2:24 to go. A 2-possession lead would be huge, so they need a basket here. If you get a 2-possession lead at this point, and then you're able to make a stop on defense, you could really start thinking about burning clock. Mayer hits the floater in the lane. Sheldon Mayer's made some big shots today, has really limited his mistakes. He always does that, but the offense has been a nice bonus. And it's now 39-35. And Khalif White commits the defensive foul. And Norristown is in the penalty with 8 fouls for their team. So despite that being a non-shooting foul, Weiss Grant will shoot. It'll be 1-1. Weiss Grant, the 5'11" junior guard. And Grant puts up the first. It's short, so the Eagles get the rebound. He will not get a second since he missed the first. And Mayer brings it up for the Eagles. And now they have that stop on defense. Mayer's got to be careful that he doesn't commit a backcourt violation. But he doesn't. He instead draws a foul. It's just a 5th-team foul on the Colonials, so the Eagles will inbound, but with a 4-point lead and just 1:34 to go. They still got a long way to go, but it's not out of the question to start taking their time here and trying to use as much clock as possible. Too early for PW to foul, so they're going to have to just look for steals. Mayer double-teamed, in trouble, had it taken away. Unable to save it was Sam Pygott. Oh, the Eagles got a break there as Mayer lost the ball thanks to the double team. And Pygott tracked it down but was out of bounds. Maybe if he just lets that go and lets Will Mascio, who is right there, maybe if he just lets that happen, the Colonials are able to take the ball, but instead Pygott went after it and could not get it. 6th-team foul on Plymouth Whitemarsh, so the next foul the PW commits will send the Eagles to the line. As on the 7th foul, the opposing team shoots free throws on every foul. Here's Wyatt, driving baseline, in traffic, and he traveled. Khalif White with a critical turnover here, giving PW just a little bit more life. Not that they were ever dead to begin with, but Will Mascio brings it up. Jim D'Onofrio not taking a timeout here, just letting him go, signaling to Mascio. Here's CJ Aiken. And he was fouled by Tom Smith. Tom Smith is out of the game now with 5 personal fouls. So Tom Smith fouls out with 1:09 to go, but his team has a 4-point lead at 39-35. So the defenses have really dominated the game, creating turnovers, but neither team really able to make anything of the other team's mistakes because they've made too many mistakes of their own. And credit both defenses for that. Don't discredit the offenses as much. But it's a 39-35 game as the teams really playing trading baskets for the majority of the game. Occasionally a little run would occur, but the other team would answer it with one of their own. And here we are, 1:09 to go. It's a 39-35 ball game. And CJ Aiken is at the line shooting 1-1. CJ Aiken, the star of this team, but it's not because of his free throw shooting prowess. Not to take anything away from his free throw shooting, but the strength of his game, obviously, is banging it in from inside and using his height advantage. Able to get the free throw, though, as he got it off the back of the rim, off the glass, and it ended up going down. And that's huge, because now they make it a 3-point game, and CJ Aiken gets another one with the potential to make it a 2-point game. CJ Aiken, big free throw. And it's good. So the Eagles need to hold on for another 1:05. They have just a 2-point advantage. They could really make a statement with this win. Here's Sheldon Mayer. Getting it to Wyatt. Now to Christmas. Off the glass and good. And it's a 4-point lead for the Norristown Eagles. 45 seconds to go. It's 41-37. And Jim D'Onofrio calls the timeout so his Colonials can try to draw something up as they need points here. So if you're in that PW huddle, Jim D'Onofrio, the head coach, they got to be trying to draw something up for Aiken or Bond. That's the 2 star players, and extremely athletic and with great size are both of them. So they're going to have to try to utilize that on this critical possession. If you're Norristown here, you want to see somebody taking a jumper from outside of their usual range. That would be ideal. So they just got to lock down the paint, because that's one place you don't want C.J. Aiken, Jalen Bond, and really the rest of PW. They've really done a pretty good job of that all game, though, and they've held a really high-scoring Colonials team to just 37 points through over 31 minutes of basketball. They've done it all game long. Let's see if they can do it in the most critical of stages. As the capacity crowd here at Plymouth Whitemarsh High School looks on, the Colonials will try to cut their 4-point deficit to 2 or perhaps 1. That one was tipped away by Wyatt, a huge defensive play. Now they get it ahead for Christmas. He's got nobody between him and the basket, and he slams it down for 2. And it's a 6-point lead for the Norristown Eagles with 20 seconds to go. Sam Pygott for 3, it's no good. The rebound put back by C.J. Aiken, keeping PW alive. Timeout, PW. Norristown's pumped, but they haven't won this thing quite yet. If they make their free throws on this upcoming possession, as PW almost assuredly will foul, if they make their free throws, it's pretty much game over. If they can't, it might leave the door open, but right now, 12.7 seconds to go, 43-39 Eagles. And some fans starting to hit the road. It's going to take something just short of a miracle for PW to get back in this. The Eagles have to not turn the ball over. You got to inbound the basketball to one of your better free throw shooters. They have all their good free throw shooters in the game right now, with Wyatt and Ramsey and the rest of them, and Christmas. Just got to get the ball to one of them without turning it over, make your free throws, and you win the game. The inbound to Mayer, who gets it back to Ramsey, and then to Wyatt. And not only do the Eagles get Wyatt to the line, they also burn a lot of clock. 8.8 seconds to go. And Khalif Wyatt will take 1 and 1. He's had a huge game. He's buried a couple of long tray balls. He's gotten to the basket quite a bit. And Khalif Wyatt has a chance to really put the nail in the coffin. Wyatt's first is good. 44-39 is the Eagles' lead. 8 seconds to go. Wyatt's second is good as well. And the whistles here. A fan just threw a water bottle on the court. Obviously some frustration from the PW fans, but that's just unacceptable. There's some police over there already. It's not smart, but for whoever did that, but they'll get that straightened out, and we'll finish up the last 8.8 seconds of ball here. C.J. Aiken brings it up, and the Eagles are going to win this game as C.J. Aiken's 3 isn't even close. The putback's good, but it's not going to matter as the final buzzer sounds. And your final score, your Norristown Eagles, move to 8-2 with a 45-41 victory over the now 8-3 PW Colonials. A huge statement has been made by the Norristown Eagles. And PW will Be right back at action here on Friday at 7 against Cheltenham. The Eagles host Upper Dublin as they'll head back to good old NAHS to take on Upper Dublin on Friday. Join us for that game. And keep checking your local schedule for Norristown varsity basketball, boys and girls, on NASD TV. But for now, thanks for joining us. We hope you enjoyed the game. It was a heck of a ball game, and your Eagles end up with the 45-41 win. That's going to do it, everybody, for our entire NASD TV crew. I'm Mark Holodinsky saying see you next time.